Hello, I'm Pastor Tat Ming. I'm a student of Kyabje Sem Rinpoche. Today I'll be sharing with you the topic on taking the Eight Mahayana Precepts. Now, what are the Eight Mahayana Precepts? They're actually a series of vows, basically a series of vows that we observe and hold for 24 hours. Now, why do we do that? We are actually making a commitment to refrain from negative actions, such as killing and lying, during the 24-hour period. We're actually training our mind to do virtuous actions, all right? So it is a moral guideline and principle that overcome our negative actions that harm others as well as ourselves, all right? It's just a guideline. Don't worry that it's like a law that binds you from not doing these things, that you cannot break it at all. Now, it's also a case where you're training your mind, your mindfulness and your awareness to control our senses. You know, our thoughts, our sights, hearing, smells, taste and touches. Now these are the sense doors what are the sense doors? Our eyes, your ears, your nose, your tongue and the limbs. Now these are your organs of your body which you are constantly in contact with objects or things around us. And when we are in contact with the objects and things around us, we start to develop our delusions such as attachment, aversion, and ignorance. What is attachment? Basically, attachment is something that you like something and you want to grasp it, you want to own it. It's something very simple I explain to you now. Aversion is something that you don't like it, you want to reject it. At the first moment of contact, you do not want to hold it, to come near it. Ignorance is something like we do not know what is right to do, what is wrong to do, right? What is wrong things, not what we shouldn't do, all right? So this is very basic explanation of these three ignorance. Now these three delusions are actually the main causes of our suffering and unhappiness, all right? So if we can eradicate completely, ultimately, throughout our training, our ignorance, our attachment and our delusions, then we become a pure person like a Buddha, which is very all-knowing, compassionate and kind. Now, these are the qualities of mind that we want to accomplish. Okay. Now, during the Mahayana Precepts taking, when you're observing the commitments and the precepts, you become more and more mindful. You watch your very steps, how you walk, how you talk, how you sleep, and so on. Because normally we are autopilot. We do things without thinking. We just do it out of habituation. For example, you tend to walk very fast. You don't watch where you're going. Tendency, you will step on an ant or an insect, all right? Or you eat food very fast, without chewing the food and you swallow something. Then you choke yourself. You may cause some damage to yourself. So these are the qualities that we want to train ourselves to be more mindful, to be aware. Now, the precepts are meant to guide us in our life so that we don't do negative actions, all right? So it reminds you through our awareness. By holding this precept, you become more aware. Oh, I cannot kill, I cannot steal, I cannot do sexual misconduct, for example. Then you will stop yourself from doing all these things which are very harmful to you and others. Okay? So eventually, when you do more and more these virtuous actions, you become happier and happier. Because you know why? Because all these are virtuous actions that will collect merits for you. And merits is something that will ripen in the future, that will give you positive experiences, such as happiness. So eventually you become happier and happier, all right, through the practice of taking the Eight Mahayana Precepts. Now, of course, the Eight Mahayana Precepts are not the only methods that you can lead you to complete happiness, right? These are some of the popular methods that Buddhists always do, or people who are interested to know, to experience such happiness, they can do this also. I received the Eight Mahayana Precepts practice from my spiritual guide, Kyabje Sem Rinpoche. Kyabje Sem Rinpoche is the lineage holder of the Tsongkhapa lineage. Originally, this practice was taught by Lord Buddha Shakyamuni. I hope you will appreciate and understand better after I explain further about these Eight Mahayana Precepts as follows. Now, the first thing comes to mind, why do we need to take the Eight Mahayana Precepts? Okay, if you look at it, this period, this era, this degenerate time that we are in now, we are very distracted with the demands of our daily lives. We're constantly spending time making ends meet, seeking material wealth, looking for pleasure to the senses. The list goes on and on. There's no end to what we desire and want. People sometimes go for holidays, they go traveling, they do things, do extreme sports. Now these are the things that distract us from doing the right thing in our life, to know ourselves better, to accomplish what we want to accomplish, for example, the true meaning of life. All right? Because if you ask the Buddha, Buddha will tell you, if you achieve enlightenment, you will achieve perfect happiness, and we can do it. Okay? Now, to improve our well-being and happiness, the Buddha, the awakened one, has said, do no evil, do good, tame our monkey mind. These are the three fundamental things that all Buddhists does. All right? In fact, every person can do this, because these are very universal laws. If you do evil, have you heard of karma? They say what goes around comes around. If you do bad, you receive bad repercussion. If you do good, you shall receive kindness and good experiences. And the monkey mind, our mind is so ignorant, it doesn't know what is right, what is wrong. We always do the wrong things that lead us to suffering. Now, taking the 8 Mahayana Precepts is one of the many methods that we can do to accomplish the three things mentioned above. Do no evil, do good, and to tame our mind. So, and it is a proven method. Why? Because the young and elderly can do this precept also. Buddhas in the past has done it. Many people in the past has done it. And they have achieved the benefits. So it is achievable. So, and another point is that it is very, very beneficial and meritorious. The benefits are endless, okay? So I won't go into the details of these benefits, which you can find out yourself. One good source is from our Guru's website, samrinpoche.com, all right? So if you read further on the benefits, you will be able to appreciate more and more about the benefits. But as mentioned, the key point was you achieve higher happiness, you achieve merits, and your life will become pleasant and better. So just as we need to work every day to collect, to earn money, to survive, to satisfy our various needs, we need to continue to generate merits to fulfill our spiritual wish, or to achieve our goal, everlasting happiness, or to overcome all our obstacles, because merit is a means to happiness. It's a means to overcome all obstacles. Now, we'll move on to the next part, where we will talk about when do we take the 8 Mahayana Precepts. In fact, you can take it on any day, any time that you want. Usually, traditionally, we'll take it on auspicious day or special days, such as the Wesak day. Now, the reason because on this day, especially on Wesak day, the merits that you collect is vast, is tremendous, and you can use this merit to fulfill your wish. You can dedicate it to your loved ones, your friends, relatives, families, and so on. Okay? If you are able to, you can take these Mahayana Precepts on a daily basis as a regular practice, which is very, very beneficial. Now, the good news is, Kashara will be broadcasting live on Facebook on Wesak Day, 7th of May, 2020, at 9 a.m. GMT time, 1 a.m. This taking the 8 Mahayana Precepts ceremony. And you will be presided by the pastor. You can follow through the entire ceremony. Now, I'm going to go through the actual precepts per se. What are the 8 Mahayana Precepts? Understanding the 8 Mahayana Precepts as follows. Firstly, refrain from killing living beings. What do we mean by killing? Killing is actually means you're causing the death of another being, such as a human, reptiles, fishes, insects, birds, poultry, and so on. As long as a sentient being, as long as they are sentient being with a consciousness. Now, it is very natural and out of habituation that we want to kill mosquito or swat a mosquito that bite us. This is very natural. When you go to the gardens in the evening, the mosquito come and bite you. So, should you kill it or not? You ask yourself, okay? Secondly, Sometimes you find in the kitchen there are a lot of ants, a lot of irritating flies all over our kitchen on the floor. And these are the pests that we hate a lot. Now, why are the flies and ants present in our kitchen? Is it because our kitchen floor is dirty, is untidy, is not well kept? And is it because in our surrounding areas there are a lot of standing water containers, unused containers that are storing standing water? These will breed mosquitoes. So there are ways, natural ways, without killing all these sentient beings, by keeping our area clean, our surrounding clean, observing our hygiene, especially in your home. So mosquito will not just attack you. You'll notice certain places don't have mosquitoes, only certain places. So you can find natural way without arousing your anger. Now, again, you can see the benefit here. This precept is trying to teach you to have patience, of kindness, to have no aversions, a lot of things, but not just stop killing, right? Now, also in lives, we have many food to eat, many types of food. Some people like to eat, they love meat so much, they cannot avoid without meat. Now this taking of meat is also when you are killing an animal for the meat. So it is not encouraged. Why? Who would want to be killed to sacrifice a meat for others? For example, if you are a fish, would you kill yourself to offer yourself for others to consume when there are other choices of food available? All right. So these are reasoning you can think about it before you take this precept of refraining from killing. Secondly, the second precept is to refrain from taking what is not given. What do you mean by not given? You take something which is not given means you are actually stealing. Okay. Now, I give an example. If you go to a Buddhist center, for example, where they have a very beautiful garden, there are a lot of beautiful flowers, and wow, suddenly you have an urge, I must offer this beautiful flower to the Buddha statue in the center. And quickly, out of your non-awareness, you pluck the flower immediately and keep it and offer it to the Buddha when you go to the temple later. So this is not mindful, not aware, and you're doing something which is stealing. Okay? Even though you think, oh, there are so many flowers in the garden, I'm taking only one. But because this flower belongs to the Sangha, belongs to the Buddhist center, you have no permission to simply pluck it from the garden. All right? So similarly, I can give you another example. Normally, in our office, the employers will provide you stationeries and all sorts of things, papers and so on. And there's a photostat machine. This is very common. Tendency, sometimes we will use the photostat machine to make photocopies of our books silently, quietly, without the management knowing. Or we can use some of the stationery and bring home and use it without knowing that it is meant for work purpose, not for your own personal use. All right? So these are some examples. Taking without permission, we take it for granted that it belongs to, it's natural. Another good example I can think of now is that all of us have handphones, right? Constantly out of power. Everywhere you go, you always look for a source of power. You plug into the wall and immediately charge your phone because you need the power to listen to your phone. Now, is it permissible or not? No, you will not ask, oh, it's available, I will just use, nobody will know, nobody cares, right? But actually, if you want to use anything from anywhere, you must ask permission, because if you use it without permission, you are actually stealing. All right? Another example I can think of now is very good, is that many people, they try not to pay parking tickets in a public parking lot. Now, it's very, very common because, let's say, you have five more minutes to go before the actual official parking hours is over. 5 more minutes, and you just arrive at the parking lot. You tell yourself, I have no need to give lah. No, the parking attendant won't come and issue the ticket lah. Why not? Why should I give 5 minutes only? You know. So you just ignore and then go and do your things, and without paying for the 5 minutes. Even 5 minutes, you are breaking the law for not paying for 5 minutes using that space. All right. Now a lot of people will take it. I myself personally, I'm guilty for it. You know? Every time you collect 5 minutes. Every now after 1 year, 5 minutes become so many hours. You know? So your karma, as a little non-virtuous act, become bigger and bigger. Eventually, you will receive a summon. Definitely, this happens to me before. I was trying to save 3 ringgit. And by the end of the day, I received 30 ringgit compound. So isn't it stupid and silly? Now this is an illustration to tell us that we shouldn't take things for granted. We shouldn't steal. So refrain from stealing, from taking things that doesn't belong to you. All right. Now we'll go on to the next precept, which is refrain from sexual misconduct. Sexual misconduct, I think most of you will understand. Okay, you in the schools or throughout your life, you learn about yourself and your body and so on. Now, this means that you don't engage in any form of sexual activities. This includes with lawful partner, a prostitute, a minor, and so on. Now, during precept taking ceremony, during the 24-hour precept taking, you do not get involved in these type of activities. It doesn't mean you cannot have sex with your loved one, your wife, for example, or your husband. But why not just stop for a 24-hour day? Refrain from your tendency, your desires. Because our desire is never ending. When are you going to stop this habitual thing, which is very harmful? If you have sex every day, for example, you're going to jeopardize your health. Your energy will be very low, all right? So this is just some explanation for you why we shouldn't have sexual activities or sexual misconduct, doing the wrong thing, unethical thing during the precept taking. All right? But one of the good benefits of refraining from sexual misconduct is that in the future you have a beautiful body. You'll be very virtuous. Your conduct is morally right. All right? So this is something we want to achieve. All right? Precept number 4 is to refrain from telling lies. What do we mean by telling lie? Basically, it means telling the truth. Okay? If you intentionally not telling the truth about an event, a situation, a person, and so on. Let me give you an example. When you and your colleagues are in a sales project, your colleague asks you for some sales information to close a sale, for example. But you are very selfish. You only share partially what you knew. Because you want to clinch the sale, you deliberately save that information for yourself in order for you to have a better self-achievement than your colleague. You want to get a better praise and promotion from your boss. So you stop telling your friend the true picture. So this is telling a lie, okay? Another example will be, you accidentally, for example, you broke a rare and ancient vase that was very precious to the owner. For example, maybe you went to a museum to do some housekeeping, to clean the objects in the museum, for example. But you accidentally broke the vase, precious vase, which the owner cannot live without it. Now, of course, you will be very worried that you will be severely reprimanded for the damage. How are you going to pay for it? So definitely, naturally, you will tell a lie. You say, I didn't break it. It just dropped, or somehow it just dropped. You're trying to cover the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So that is telling a lie, a direct lie. Now, another example will be, you purposely refuse to share some information, some knowledge that you know to a person who is asking you for help, for some guidance, all right? So, because why? Because you don't like the person, you hate the person. You see the face also you don't like. So you refuse to share information. That is also a form of telling a lie, because you're not sharing the truth, okay? We move on to the next precept, which is number 5. Refrain from taking intoxicants, which includes cigarettes, alcohol, mind-altering drugs such as marijuana and any other substances that loosen your control of your mind. Now, I'll give you an example. You notice heavy smokers or heavy drinkers who drink a lot of alcohol. They have a tendency to smoke and drink a lot throughout their entire lives, non-stop. Why? Due to their addiction. It's not that they can't control, it's their addiction that is controlling their mind, their desire to wanting more and more sensual pleasure of reaching the high of smoking or drinking alcohol. So this one, people who are addictors, they need to go for treatment, okay? So in this case, I'm just giving a very, very strong example. We also have some tendency for certain food or drink, and then we can't really control, we want to take it. So you need to control yourself. What about medication, you may ask me? Some people are sick, they have high blood pressure, they have hypertension, they have diabetes. There's no way to control them. They had to take medications, tablets to survive, to maintain their well-being and have good health. So they have to take this. There's no way they have. So you are permitted to take the medicines. Okay. Now we move to the next one, which is number 6, refraining from taking lunch, taking a meal after lunch. All right. So you start off your day from having breakfast and then come to lunch. All right. But in this Mahayana precept taking, you are only allowed 1 meal a day before lunch, 1 meal before lunch and 1 drink before lunch. Breakfast you can take breakfast, it's all right. But you must complete your meal of your lunch within 1 session. Let's say you start now, you finish it, you don't stop halfway and go and do something else and come back and finish your meal. Similarly with the drink. Because if you do it that way, you are taking more than 1 meal for your lunch. All right. So, and throughout the day, you will also have the tendency, the urge to eat or drink because you're hungry. All right. So what to do? Sometimes people have medical conditions such as gastric. They have to eat constantly, they have to drink constantly so they don't have problems with the stomach. All right? So it is permissible to have mild drinks such as diluted, very, very diluted drinks, your juices, no, without the pulp. And also you can drink some, for example, very, very diluted Milo or any drinks. All right? So this is to overcome your, sometimes medical conditions. But can you drink water throughout the whole 24 hours? Of course you can, but don't overdo it. All right? If you overdo it, because you cannot control, you're actually not controlling. You're not experiencing the essence of this precept of not taking food after lunch. Humans have a lot of desires. They eat too much. They drink too much. It is time we stop and reflect. How, if you stop, your body can adjust, can rejuvenate. They can purify all the impurities in the body. Give your body some time to rest. Now is a good time when you take this precept to let your body rest, and you can see for yourself how really attached you really are to this food and drink. Right? So refraining from taking meals after lunch is one of the precepts. The next precept, number 7, is to refrain from entertainment such as dancing, singing, and listening to music, as well as using perfumes, ornaments, and other items to beautify oneself. Now, let me give you an example. Many people love to watch movies, TV, follow TV dramas, because of the enjoyment, the excitement of watching movies and the movies. You are part of the whole act in the movies. So this kind of desire, people have the habituation to always follow. They can forego their food and just watch the TV from beginning to end the whole day. All right. Now, if you do this, for example, out of this your habit, you do this during your working hours, okay, without your employer's knowledge. Instead of focusing on your work you're paid to do, you spend time secretly watching movies on the internet, on the computer in front of your desk, right? Isn't it? You don't feel guilty. You're actually not doing what you're supposed to pay to work, all right? So now another thing is that some people, they love aerobic dancing, or they love to hang out in the gym, They would rather go all the way to a town, to the city, and try there to take part in the group aerobic dancing, for example. Okay? Instead of staying at home, do some simple exercise, which is also beneficial. Now, if you look at the situation now, unfortunately, we have this COVID-19 pandemic and lockdowns in many parts of the cities around the world. We are restricted in our movement. Are you still so addictive that you must, no matter what, go to a gymnasium? In fact, they won't be open. Even if you go out, you'll be stopped by the police officer for going against the law of staying at home, right? So this is some example I'm just quoting for you. You can listen to Buddhist chanting or music. These are permissible because Buddhist music and chanting, they are blessings from the Buddhas. The sound of pure speech of Buddhas. So it's okay. It's not attachment to sound or music that you love. Now you can live without perfumes, ornaments, and other things used to beautify yourself. Okay? They are actually optional and non-essential things. Now take this COVID-19 pandemic and lockdown. Do you think perfume, ornaments, or decorative items are more important and essential than food, masks, or hand sanitizers? This is just an example. Now some people, they wear pendants, beautiful pendants, expensive, luxurious pendants, Buddha pendants, or some other decorative pendants. But is it necessary? Is it more of a decorative purpose? Now, if your nature of the work requires you to pick up makeup, put on makeup, ornaments, or perfume to make yourself professional and presentable, or to cover your body odor, try to keep them simple and minimal, or avoid using them completely if possible. Now, basically, this precept here is helping us to reduce our attachment to these objects. The next precept is refraining from using high or luxurious seats and beds. For example, if you are used to luxurious bed and sit at home, you will be very reluctant to sleep on other simple beds or seat. Now, how do we overcome this during this precept taking? If you can, use a simple chair to sit on instead of opting to sit on the luxurious big sofa in your home to have your meal. You can sit on a cushion on the floor around your coffee table to have a meal. Now these are some suggestions how you can overcome it. Similarly, you could sleep on your bedroom floor on a simple mattress instead of a queen-size luxurious bed or comfortable sofa. Materials objects as for us to make our life comfortable. You can be contented even with simple items. All right? So this precept helps us to reduce our attachment to comfortable bed and seat and other objects of materials. Now an example is if you are invited to give a talk, if you have you're a very demanding person, you will ask for a high throne or seat to be provided for you, thinking that you deserve it. Now this throne can be a platform custom built specially for your use. The seat can be a luxurious big armchair, specially bought for you to use in a talk event. Now is it necessary to do so? You see, when giving a talk, I personally feel that your content of your talk is very important than the supporting things that is helping you to give a talk. All right? Now it's your choice. Huh? So this precept actually helps us to overcome our pride, our attachment to comfort. Okay, I'll basically cover the 8 Mahayana Precepts. Now what do you need to prepare for the day of precept taking on Wesak day? You need to take a vegetarian or vegan food. Okay? No black food is allowed. What are those black food? No meat, no onions, no garlic, no leek, and no eggs. These are not permissible. Why are these so? Because they will increase your desires for the sense of taste. You're wanting more and more such things. And the food has to be consumed in one go, in one session. Let's say before 12 o'clock noon, you make sure these things are available for you already. Your food, your lunch, your drink, one drink and one meal. No more than that. And make sure you consume in one go. Don't take it halfway, then there's a phone call, you go and listen to the phone call, then come back, continue your meal. That's considered 2 meals. So do remember this point. Eat your meal. You can take your time to eat before noon, just completely in one go, one drink and one meal. All right? As for breakfast, you can have your daily breakfast as usual. After the meal, do not eat anything else until the following 9 a.m., which is the completion of 24 hours. All right? And throughout the day, when you feel thirsty, you can drink mild juice or drink water. All right? But sometimes because of the heat the weather is hot, you will tend want to drink a lot. Treat it as an opportunity for you to fast, to cleanse your body, control your desire to eat or drink more than necessary. All right? Because it's very, very beneficial. After going through this, you'll notice that your body becomes healthier and healthier. So you know the benefits of fasting. Now you need to have a Buddha image and your spiritual teacher's photo on your altar, if you have a spiritual teacher. Why? Because during the precept taking ceremony, we will be prostrating to them, we'll be taking our vows, our precepts in front of the altar, in front of the Buddha image and of our Guru. Prepare some offerings to offer on the altar to your Guru and your Buddha. Some of the offerings you can choose to offer are flowers, incense, food. Make sure the food has no meat or vegetarian, and some drinks. All right. Now, you also need to wear white or proper clothing, as you will be taking the precepts in front of a Buddha image in your home. This is more respectful. Don't just wear your pajamas and go and take your precepts. Too casual. When you are in a formal ceremony like this, you need to be very respectful, and you give yourself a chance to respect your practice yourself. You're respecting the Buddhas, your Gurus, then you do practice, then you more appreciate what you're doing. If you just casually just wear a t-shirt and wear a short and take the precept, you don't treat it seriously. The key word is take it seriously. This is something you normally don't do it. If you're doing it on an auspicious day, which is very meritorious, do it properly according to the traditions. All right. So remember, mark down your date. The precept ceremony will be on 9 a.m. on a live broadcast on Kachara Facebook. Make sure all your equipment, if you're taking your computers, your internet, all are working fine. If not, you'll miss the boat. Okay? And the precept you need to observe from 9 a.m. until the following day 9 a.m. for 24 hours. Now, in case that you are not able to fulfill the 24-hour commitment, you can, before the start of the precept taking, make a decision how long do you want to take. Maybe for half a day or a few hours, it is fine, because you're doing through this process of promising to refrain from all these negative actions, so it is acceptable. But if you do it regularly, you are used to it, 24 hours is actually not a big matter, not a big issue. Some people take it for life. Every day they're taking 8 Mahayana Precepts because they know the tremendous benefits they are getting. So they are willing to go through that process. All right? Okay, a prayer booklet will also be made available online for you to refer to during the actual precept taking ceremony. It is very easy, it's normal. You will break the precepts unintentionally. For example, while going through the process of taking the precept, a mosquito appears in front of you and you just swat it, okay, out of your habituation. What happened now? You broke the vow of not killing, all right? But don't worry, it is done unintentionally. If you purposely, knowing that the mosquito is right in front of you and you really hate mosquito, no matter what, you will kill it, that is not good. The purpose of doing this precept taking is to train ourselves to be kind, to be compassionate. Even a mosquito is a sentient being. They have a consciousness, they have a life, all right? So if you have a tendency to kill mosquito, you have a tendency to kill even human. Let's say you're a bad guy. Anyone, any person you can kill due to anger or something, for example. But if you can even save a mosquito from biting you, from not killing it, that means you have a kindness. There's kindness in you, there's compassion in you. So these are some reasons to encourage you to refrain from killing even ants or mosquitoes, all right? But if in case you are unintentionally, or you are not careful, or you are absent-minded, or no, you just kill, or you step on an ant by walking to the kitchen, don't worry, there is a way out, okay? So you can repair the broken precept of non-killing by reciting Buddha Vajrasattva short and long mantra 21 times immediately. Okay, I can recite to you the short mantra, which is like this: Om Bensa Sato Hong. Om Bensa Sato Hong. Om Bensa Sato Hong. You can repeat this for 21 times, and then you sincerely confess and tell it in front of Buddha. If you do this in front of Buddha's statue or your Guru's picture, and you confess, you promise you will be very careful and not repeat the same action again. All right? Or you can recite the long Vajrasattva mantra, which we will provide the link for you to look for it. is recited as this Om Ben Sasato Samaya Manu Palaya Ben Sasato Dinopa Titatu Homi Bawa Sutokaya Mi Bawa Supokaya Mi Bawa Anurato Mi Bawa Sawa Siddhi Mi Prayasa Sawa Kama Susami Shidam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tada Gata Ben Samami Musa Ben Sabawa Mahas Maya Sato Ahom Pe. Now this mantra could be a bit long, but it's very meaningful. If you can recite it, it's very good. If you can't recite, you go for the shorter one. All right. Now, during the precept taking ceremony, you will be guided by the pastor. You will be doing a few actions throughout the prayer. First, standing to prostrate to the Buddha. If you can't stand, you can prostrate sitting down. Secondly, kneeling on your right knee with both hands clasped together to take the 8 Mahayana Precepts. If you can't kneel, you can do so sitting down. Sitting down to recite the prayers, there is a third one. So these are some of the physical actions which you need to do throughout the taking of the vow ceremony. Now, a very important part of this whole ceremony or this whole precept taking is at the completion of the 24 hour, that is on the 9 a.m. the following day, please dedicate the merits that you have accumulated from these virtuous actions, from taking these 8 Mahayana Precepts, by reciting the completion dedication and the king of prayers, which are included in the prayer booklet above. Now, the merits are tremendous, are vast from your taking of these Mahayana Precepts, and it is useful for you to dedicate to your loved ones. The best thing is you dedicate as according to the king of prayers and completion dedication, because you're actually dedicating to all living beings, and the merits that you will generate for yourself is also very, very vast. All right? Now, after completion of your precept taking, you can break fast and go back gently to your normal meals. Don't immediately after the 9 a.m. the following day, immediately go to the kitchen, go to the fridge to grab something to buy to eat, because you're so thirsty, you cannot stand your hunger. This one will be very harmful to your stomach. You gradually eat. Some people, they take fasting, after a 24-hour fasting, they do not go straight to the food. They gradually take some light meals until your body can adjust, all right? Actually, your body knows how to adjust, but you just need to give them time to adjust. We have come to the concluding part of my sharing. Now, I would like to stress a few points with you. Do enjoy taking these 8 Mahayana Precepts, because it's very, very advantageous. And throughout the process, you will slowly gain realizations of many things about yourself, your attachment, your aversions, your habituation, and so on. So get to know yourself better, in other words. You can improve yourself further and you live a better life thereafter, because it is a virtuous action which you are learning to live in the future. Now, another point which I want to highlight to you is very, very important. Don't worry if you are not able to take this precept very well, or you break the precepts, you have no confidence. Now, the precepts are meant to design to help us to protect our mind, so that in the future, when we are more familiar with our actions, we do not create harmful actions or have harmful thoughts. So now, let's compare a person who doesn't take vows or who doesn't take precepts. If he, let's say, for example, he don't kill, does it mean he collects merit? Compared to a person who takes a precept of non-killing, definitely the person who takes precept of non-killing will collect the merits. If you, for example, I tell you an example. If you ask a baby, a small little baby, who is not killing anything, who is lying there and sleeping, is the baby collecting merits? Or if you ask a person, a child who has taken a vow of non-killing, and he performs it successfully, which one is better? Which one collects merit? Of course, is the person who took the precepts. So what I'm trying to say is that try your best to take this precept. If you don't do it well in this time, try again the next time. All right? It is not meant to harm you, to stop you from doing this type of thing. It is an advice. It is something that you should strive to become. This is what the Buddha has said. Do no evil. But you cannot immediately say, I cannot stop all my negative actions now. That's impossible. Due to countless past life habituation, you have collected this habit. It becomes second nature to you. So it's very natural you to perform killing. As I mentioned, you will kill mosquito, you kill ants. It's very natural for us to kill. So how do we turn over from a negative person to a positive person? You need time. Taking the 8 Mahayana Precepts is a way for you to slowly change yourself to become better. All right? So don't worry, don't feel stressful, don't feel difficult, because many people have done it. Even myself, initially I was so worried. Wow, vows, talking about taking vows. Is it possible? It's something very serious, it's very hard. It seems like very hard, but it's not hard, okay? As I mentioned earlier, Buddha will not teach you something that is harmful, not achievable. It is achievable. And you look at the human mind, humans are able to perform miraculous things, impossible things, because if you believe in yourself, anything is possible. Taking a precept is not so difficult. If you stop eating for a day, is it so difficult? You can go for hunger for even 30 days without food, all right? What about just one day? It's so small. Some people in other countries, or poor countries, they cannot eat at all. They have no food to eat, especially now, the COVID-19. Access to food and resources is so difficult. Can you imagine the suffering they're going through? For us, we just stop ourselves from eating for 24 hours. It's not so difficult, isn't it? So give yourself confidence, you can do it. If not, you do a prayer in front of your altar, to the Guru, to the Buddha that you pray to give you blessings, give you inspiration. That's why in the process we do prayers. The prayers is to help us to gain confidence, to get the blessings of the enlightened beings, so that we can do it successfully. Okay? So to cut it short, just do it. No matter what you do, the first time it was always difficult. Just do it, and once you get experience, you'll be so easy that you want to share with others to do the same. All right? So in reality, in real life, we have a lot of rules, a lot of guidelines, a lot of regulations, terms and conditions, the laws of the land, the constitution, our life ethical principle that you follow. So these are some of the things that we have in our life that guide us in our daily, in the various aspects of our life. Similarly, the 8 Mahayana Precepts will be an extension of this. It is meant to guide, to help us, to protect us. Now, after you have understand what is involved, the benefits, I'm sure you definitely want to go for it. Okay? As mentioned earlier, many people have done it, so can you. All right? Just have confidence in this. I think basically I covered most of the points that I want to share with you. So if you have any questions or any doubts or any concern that you want to address, please feel free to leave your questions on the comment section for me to address. We will address the questions. And another point is that these Mahayana Precepts, as I mentioned, you can do it lesser than 24 hours. You can do it at your ability, but you can definitely do it for 24 hours. I can assure you. So try it for once. Even though you do it very badly, the most important is your intention, your motivation of doing this. Are you doing for yourself? Are you doing to benefit your loved ones, to benefit the beings around you, or you want to improve yourself? Have a thought about this. Right? This motivation is very important for you to prompt you to take these Mahayana Precepts. All right? And that will conclude my sharing. Thank you so much for listening. I hope to see you in our taking the 8 Mahayana Precepts ceremony on the Wesak day. Thank you.